Hey, hey, hey. Happy Tuesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, obviously enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard, everyone. Tonight is Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. This is live show 1315. If you are not overly familiar with the show, let me point out it's super casual around here. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop role-playing game news. And then I will usually pontificate about a topic related to our hobby, which is what I'm doing tonight. We're going to talk about a variety of different ways for people to enjoy essentially years and years of fantasy role-playing content absolutely free. And there are a few different avenues that you can take to all that role-playing game goodness. We're going to talk about that a little bit later after the news. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are not going to find here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Then, of course, because this is a live show, there is chat available. Now, you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least a whole hour. Yes, that's right, 60 minutes before you can take part in chat. But if you want to say howdy, maybe get a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I'll do my absolute best to respond. First out the gate tonight is our good friend of the show, the Madman. Max Apocalypse is with us, as is Keith Thulhu, Mark Hawkswell, Danny Gable, Semper Buffo. Chris Lundgren is with us, as is Sometimes in the Winter, and Pete Strakulich. I also see W. Forge just popped in, and we may have the lovely and talented Miss Sarah D joining the Madman as our chat moderators tonight. So welcome aboard. And I should point out to our chat moderators, keep your eyes peeled. We might have some unusual folks popping in tonight. So if you follow me on social media, if you happen to seen my post here in the, well, I used to call it community. Now it's just posts. Some folks didn't take too kindly to me saying that I stand against racism and fascism. Don't know what to tell you. And I basically said, you know, if you got a problem with that, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Because that's how I feel. That is really how I feel. And, of course, you know, the right-wing nutters had to jump on trying to tell me what I mean by racism and fascism. It's like the actual definitions, not the America-owned Newsmax definition of those words. Anyway, so keep your eyes peeled in case somebody slips on it. I don't know if they're going to bother, but there were a trio of wing nuts who just had to answer every single person's comment. So that's, well, not literally, but a whole lot. So Keith Lewis says that some folks took exception to your community post speaks volumes about them. Yes, I get it. I agree. You know, it doesn't, like, whatever. I mean, these are the kind of people who are trying to say that Germany's Nazi party was a left-wing organization. because they had socialists in the name of the party title. Yeah, okay. All right. Anyway, let's see. Sometimes in the Winter says they received Run from the Dark's Kickstarter today. Pretty happy with the books. Nice. Very cool. Sounds like Chris Lundgren's a little under the weather tonight. Hopefully he's feeling a bit better. So hopefully your sugars stabilize. Max Apocalypse says, that old gag. Anyway, Chris Lundgren says they're not into politics. Let's just game. Well, that's up to you, man. Feel free. Knock yourself out. But I am not going to be somebody, because I've had people tell me before, oh, you need to stay neutral. Stay neutral. Really? That means that I abide by certain things that people are trying to pull. It's like, no, sorry, that's not how I operate. But I'm not forcing anybody to say it. And yes, I have friends on all sides of the aisles. So it's the issue is the extremes on each side, not the left and right of center, you know? So anyway, but, oh, I see Kathy Evans is popping on in. But we got plenty of news to get into tonight, so let's get started. Because landing in stores on May 26th is Blade Runner Replicant Rebellion. Hey, that might sound familiar to some folks. Here, I guess I should move my arm over a little bit. Sometimes in Winter with a $5 super chat. Says, thanks for pissing off fascists, Jeff. You're one of the good ones. Thank you kindly. Anywho, I've got the lowdown on Replicant Rebellion from Free League Publishing. This new campaign expansion places players in the role of members of the Replicant Underground, a decentralized network of rebels operating in the shadows of 2037 Los Angeles. With Wallace Corp watching the city, Blade Runners closing in, and tensions rising after the return of replicants, players must navigate a conflict where humans and replicants can be found on both sides. This expansion includes 5 operations that can be played separately or connected into a longer campaign, new character archetypes and specialties, rules for heat and maintaining cover, new gear and weapons, detailed information on the, hey, how did the Modifius news item get in there? I just went through all this and it looked fine. Anyway, okay. You'll get detailed information on the Replicant Underground's history, assets, and operations. The 176-page hardcover with PDF is going to carry an MSRP of $39.99. You can receive the PDF right now if you pre-order, or if you want to score the PDF, you can do so over at Free League Publishing. It is $19.99. Give or take a few pennies, depending on the exchange rate today. It is not over on Drive-Thru RPG yet. So, do you want to point that out? If you are going to grab the PDF now, it is by way of Free League Publishing. Very cool. Very cool. There is a new Tales of the Valiant supplement, which is available for pre-order from Kobold Press. Here's what I know about trade secrets. Trade is the lifeblood of every settlement, from humble villages to sprawling empires. Money matters, and Trade Secrets is the book you need to flesh out the world of finance in your next campaign or adventure. Within Trade Secrets, you'll find mercantile opportunities galore, fantasy economies made simple, master supply and demand, build monopolies, and design guilds that fit in your world. No more boring shopping trips with tips to keep the pace up when your party hits the marketplace. Economic adventure ideas, grasping, greedy villains, highway robbers, bitter rivalries between shopkeepers. Become a job creator. Take your adventurers' hard-won gold and reinvest it into taverns, smithies, inns, and more. There's a wealth of tables for your adventurers, including marketplace encounters, surprise auctions, and interplanar bazaars. You'll find new weapons, magical items, tools, and more. Build your fortune and finance your next quest in style with trade secrets. You can pre-order the 160-page hardcover for $39.99. You can bundle it together with the PDF for $49.99. If you want to just get the PDF, you can do so for $24.99. This is not slated to arrive until October. So if you are pre-ordering the PDF, it is a pre-order. You are not going to receive the PDF when you make your purchase. So there you go. There you go. Anyway, Danny Gable says that they are amazed by people and their ability to close their eyes and ignore fascism. Some people just don't want to rock the boat. And I can understand that. I, on the other hand, do not have a problem sharing my opinions. I think you all know that. So, hey, I'm just bringing this up. This is not like going to be the topic for tonight. I was just pointing this out that our chat moderators might need to keep their eyes peeled. So, DB is with us tonight. Good to see you once again. Let's see. Kevin King is also joining us. DB says, wow, that Wizard's hat on the cover. Hey, you know what? I'm kind of surprised that we didn't get any spreads of the book. All we're getting right now are just simply pieces of art, which thankfully there were actually 5 of, including the cover, so I could put this together. But it's kind of surprised we didn't see a spread or 2 of what the book's interior is going to look like. I guess Max Apocalypse likes the winged cat. All right. So moving right along, Roll for Combat is teamed up with Humble Bundle for the Battle Zoo Ultimate Monster and Adventure Bundle for D&D 5e and D&D 5.5e. I've got the deets on the deal. Adventures await. Roll for Combat and Humble Bundle have teamed to curate the ultimate virtual tabletop bundle to spice up your next game night. Uncover long-forgotten secrets, save a colossal progenitor, and face eldritch powers beneath the waves in Battle Zoo Adventures, a cinematic level 5 adventure for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. This amazing collection features core rulebooks, map packs, and digital tokens, all designed to give your D&D campaign some serious bite. Pay what you want for the best Battle Zoo Adventures collection around and help support canine companions with your purchase. Release the Kraken before it's too late. You can jump aboard this for as little as $5. If you want to go all in, you can do so for a minimum donation of $25. You will score all 22 items on offer. These savings will run through May 11th. And if you're kind of curious about the Jewel of the Indigo Isles, which is part of this, is a big, thick adventure campaign. I did review it. So you can, by all means, check out that review if you need to know a little bit more. But this does include the Battle Zoo Bestiary and the World of Battle Zoo Indigo Isles. There's quite a bit to this, especially for $25. It's a pretty rocking deal. Sometimes in the Winter says, I wish the Battle Zoo bundle would have included the Pathfinder version as well. Wanted to try out Pathfinder, but looks like a fun adventure either way. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that they didn't just do maybe even 2 bundles, separate bundles for the same thing, except one in the 5e D&D flavor, the other in the Pathfinder 2nd edition flavor. But that is not the case. Kind of surprised. Tessie Trekkie has popped on in. Max Apocalypse says, not enough pinatas on RPG book covers these days. Well, you're getting your fix here. No doubt about that. All right. So there you have it as far as saving some money. But you know what? If you're looking to save even more money, the time is right to score savings on the Traveler role-playing game from Mongoose Publishing by way of an offer on Bundle of Holding. And I've got the skinny on the savings. Traveler. The December 2024 Mongoose Traveler Update Bundle with PDF rulebooks and ship source books has been resurrected. That's right. Mongoose Traveler lets you play any science fiction RPG campaign. Desperate battles across the stars, free traders operating on both sides of the law, grungy cyberpunk cities, or campaigns spanning entire galaxies where mighty empires clash and suns explode. Traveler lets you explore the universe the way it suits you. And these supplements give you new allies, contacts, and enemies, starships, large and small, and robots of every size from nano to colossal. This revival and its all-new companion Traveler Imperial Navy offer, which I will talk about on tomorrow's show, kick off this year's Traveler Week, a new sequence of 5 Bundle of Holding offers showcasing Mongoose Traveler's 2nd edition. These offers mark Traveler Day, celebrated each year on May 1st in recognition of the cover copy on the 1977 first edition of Traveler. This is Free Trader Beowulf calling anyone. Mayday! Mayday! Of course, you'll be getting more information about the other revivals as the week continues. For just $17.95, you'll get all 5 titles in this revived offers Traveler Updates collection, which has a retail value of $150 as DRM-free PDFs, including the complete Traveler Core Rulebook Update 2022, along with the Update 2024 version of the Traveler Companion, and 3 more supplements, the Adventure Class Ships, Small Crafts Catalog, and the Robot Handbook. These savings will run through May 18th. Very nice. Got to keep your eyes peeled for when they have the Traveler bundles, because I know people out there are interested in Traveler and then they see the pricing and they're like, it's a little pricey, which I agree. I do understand that. I do. Although, the price differential isn't as large as it once was, looking at all the various different publishers out there who've raised their prices. But still, I understand. There are folks out there, hey, you know what? $40 for a PDF is asking quite a lot. Not all of the Traveler PDFs are $40, but you know what I mean. So right here, for $18, essentially, you can get 5 of the core books for Traveler for less than the cost of the core rulebook in PDF. So once again, if you're curious about Traveler, this is a time to strike. And you're going to have 5 offers all rolling out this week. Tomorrow, I'll talk about that Traveler Naval bundle that is out there right now. And of course, keep your eyes peeled over on thegaminggang.com, because there will be some offers that don't get a news piece on the live show. They will be popping up over on the website. So, and I, of course, always have all the links to all of these right there on the website. And what was it? About a month ago, I started making sure that the news items are up before the show as opposed to after the show. So as you're watching, if you're watching on your phone or tablet or laptop or have you, and you've got access, and you're like, oh, hey, yeah, you know what? That sounds cool. Just go right on over to thegaminggang.com. You will find the news pieces there, all the relevant links included. Spelling mistake. What did I say? Spelling mistake is with us. Spelling mistake has joined us once again. Welcome aboard. I see Savage Splendor is also joining us tonight, as has Wallona's Cave. Danny Gable says they're heading to Fort Wayne, Indiana this weekend for the Goodman Games warehouse sale. Anyone need anything while they're there? Yeah, you know, I could go with a copy of the Grimtooth Traps. Isn't that AOR 9 and AOR 11? Although I don't know if we're going to see, if we're going to see retail copies of that or if it's just for the Kickstarter backers. It was supposed to only be for the Kickstarter backers, but I don't know. All right, let's wrap up with our final news piece, because the Sleepy Hollow role-playing saga is going to draw to a close with the return of the Headless Horseman. And here's the latest from Kids in the Attic Games. He rides again. For years, Sleepy Hollow has lived in the shadow of an old story, half warning, half superstition. A headless rider, a lonely bridge, a night no one speaks of for long. Most have learned to laugh it off. Others know better. Something has changed. The whispers have grown louder. The dead do not rest as easily. Strange rites stir in the woods, and the line between memory and truth is beginning to wear thin. What was once a tale told to frighten children is becoming something far more real and far more dangerous. The return of the Headless Horseman is the climactic conclusion to the Sleepy Hollow series from Kids in the Attic Games. This is not a simple mystery or a passing horror. This is the reckoning, the moment where everything comes due. Inside, you'll find a full-length adventure designed to bring your campaign to its final, dreadful peak. Long-buried secrets come to light. Loyalties are tested. Survival is no longer guaranteed. The Hollow has been waiting, and this time, the rider does not pass by. The 134-page PDF is available right now over at DriveThruRPG for $15.95. And I will point out, tonight's giveaway is going to be a copy not of this, but a copy of Sleepy Hollow, the core book from Kids in the Attic Games. And I will tell you what the trivia question is in just a moment. Yes, this looks really cool. I got to be honest, I have not really heard anything about this. I have shared some news from time to time when adventures have come out for Sleepy Hollow. And I guess this is a kind of contained role-playing game. So like I said, I just read the sell sheet info and it's saying it's bringing the saga to a conclusion. So this might be the last release for the role-playing game. I don't know. But I got to say, looks pretty cool. That's why I've shared news about this whenever I've stumbled across something new arriving for Sleepy Hollow. All right, that is it for the news tonight. Of course, I was talking about DriveThruRPG. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you're going to go visit, say, I don't know, DriveThruRPG, Storyteller's Vault, Dungeon Masters Guild, Wargame Vault, any of the numerous One Bookshelf sites, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banners. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get 5% of that sale. And all those commissions really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. If you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Give a little heart or thumbs up, or if you're hanging out in chat, if you're watching on a mobile device and you got some hype points left, maybe sprinkle some hype points on the video. But if you happen to like the Gaming Gang, if you dig the channel, if you find us to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just enjoy what we do, you got a couple other ways that you can support the outlet. First, by making a one-time donation by way of PayPal. Hell, you can buy me a 2-liter bottle of soda. My God, that's good. You can also become a monthly member of our Patreon. You'll find links in the show notes. Also, down in those show notes, you're going to find an invite link to our Discord server. Absolutely free to sign up. So be sure to hang with the gang over on Discord. All right. So, are you ready for the trivia question? Well, I'll tell you what. Give me a sec. Let's catch up on chat a little bit. Let's make sure I have said hello to everyone who's popped in. I think I have. So, Sometimes in the Winter says, passing on Traveler 5e was a good choice. We get the better version on the cheap with those bundles. Got options for Heroic 5e Science Fiction now with Void Runner's Codex. Yeah, we just shared our review of that. Sammy got her review of it done. When did I post it? I think it was yesterday. Or Saturday. It got posted. But yeah, just shared that. That's kind of interesting. And Neon Odyssey Kickstarter coming out soon. That I am not familiar with. Sweet. All right. Anyway, Spelling Mistake says, I'm on mobile. I don't see hype. I don't know what's going on with that because I've seen it on some channels and then on other channels, I don't see anything. So maybe they got rid of it. Maybe it was I didn't have points left, so it didn't show up. I don't know. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Boomerman Dan Webb is joining us. So Keith Lewis says in 5th edition compatible Traveler, you can't die during character creation or any time after that. Well, yeah, because it's 5e. Characters don't get killed. Yeah, they can. I don't know about the 5e Traveler as far as, are there deaths in character creation? I would think probably not. Even in Mongoose Traveler 2nd edition, it is optional. You don't necessarily have to kill the character off. There are some tables that you can roll on that, it's like a devastating injury or something like that. And to be honest with him, if I remember correctly, I think there were a couple where I was like, yeah, I think I would rather kill the character off. Spelling Mistake says, well, yeah, my high points, superstars, flying hearts, whatever. Well, thank you very much. It is appreciated. All right. So anybody who wants to get into the running to win a copy of the Sleepy Hollow role-playing game from Kids in the Attic Games in PDF. Important for me to mention that. Get ready. Here's your trivia question. First person with the correct answer is the winner. And right now, I think everybody's game to be able to win this. So, because if you win once during the week, then you can't win for the rest of that week. Well, so we're in a new week. The Headless Horseman. What is the Headless Horseman's supposed nationality? And you have to get it exactly correct. So yes, DB says, that's a fresh week. Yes, it is. It is. Daryl Arrett says, when I won a few weeks ago, my email wasn't acknowledged. Really? Shoot me another email, Daryl. I must have missed it somehow. Because, I remember there was one giveaway I did not see an email for. So please shoot me another email. Off the top of my head, I don't recall what it was. So, Valimir Cleaver is with us. I think it might be a first-time visit in chat. Correct. The Headless Horseman is a Hessian. Some people say Hessian. Other people say Hessian. So, and James Burton also got that correct. So, yes, there you go. Yes, he's, it's supposed to be the corpse of a Hessian mercenary. Yes. Very nice. Okay, so Valimir, what you need to do is you want to shoot an email to Jeff McAleer at thegaminggang.com. And if you have any issue figuring out that email address, just go to thegaminggang.com. You'll see there's a contact button. That'll pull up the email. Got to email me from the account that is associated with your YouTube. That is your Gmail. And I will get you a link to a copy of Sleepy Hollow. So, Spelling Mistake says, they already have it. It's great. Nice. So, tonight we're going to talk about a variety of different ways for players and game masters out there to enjoy literally, and yes, I know how to use that word, thousands of hours of fantasy role-playing game enjoyment absolutely free. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
Good evening. It's intermission time. And during the next 10 minutes, we invite you to visit our refreshment stand located in the center of the drive-in. Service is friendly, quick. You'll buy bags, pizza, your favorite kids, hotly cold beverages, other delicious snacks. So, after you're done with watching the movie, visit our refreshment stand right now during our 10-minute intermission. We're glad to have you with us tonight. We hope you come to see us often. It's great. Take it out to the movie.
Wherefore art thou, Romeo, and whereof is my Wilkins instant coffee?
The coffee's all gone.
Well, so am I.
Space Patrollers, you're about to witness the unveiling of a top secret, a scientific marvel that will take you through all space and time. The rocket cockpit. It's an exact scale model of the cockpit of the new XRC, and it's for you.
That's right, gang. You can have a rocket cockpit. You can set it to controls just the way I do aboard the XRC. All you do, you just set your time computer for star drive and whiz through time, and then advance your throttles, and you exceed the speed of light.
Send and receive secret messages with the master codes and fire the deadly atomic cannons at enemy ships. Look through the viewscope and imagine yourself whizzing through time and space. Up, 40, 50, 100,000 miles an hour. Past the moon. Above Mars. Through the millions of stars in the rings of Saturn, always protected by your powerful atomic cannons.
That's right, gang. And say, this model is a real beauty, and it makes a sensational trainer with all the scientifically scaled modern parts.
Every one of you Space Patrollers will want one, so you can fly along with us. Or dream up your own exciting missions. We want every boy and girl to have the thrill of owning this rocket cockpit. So get a pencil and paper. In a few minutes, we'll tell you how to get yours.
Space Patrollers, now you can have all the fun and excitement of flying your very own spaceship. Yes, you can get this tremendous rocket cockpit Will you show the space patrollers how it works, Tony?
Sure, Captain Barkley. Fellas and girls, the rocket cockpit is really great. Just like having your own spaceship. Look, these are the time computers. The directions tell you how to fix them for star drive, so you can travel through time. Set these rocket controls and you'll go more than 100,000 miles an hour. Look at all the big planets on this view scope. See? The names come up automatically. You get master coders to send secret messages, to decode secret messages, to communicate in a language that only space patrollers can know. And here's my favorite, the atom cannons. You load the barrels like this, aim through these sights, and zoom, you fire, and hit every time. You can pretend you're flying along with Commander Corey, or dream up your own adventures. Play it alone or with a pal. You can have make-believe wars and everything.
Wait a minute, Tony. I want to tell everybody how to get the rocket cockpit. Just send your name and address and 25 cents in coin, along with the lid from a can of Nestle's Ever-Ready Cocoa or a tracing of the front of the label to Nestle, Box 54, St. Louis, Missouri. And hurry, because you'll need this rocket cockpit to join Commander Corey in all his new adventures and to decode those secret messages. So, send your name and address and 25 cents, plus the lid from a can of Nestle's Ever-Ready Cocoa or a tracing of the front of the label to Nestle, Box 54, St. Louis, Missouri.
Gang, send for your rocket cockpit today.
Just send in 25 cents. It's like a king's ransom to kids back then. Like when they would go and get their penny candy. Yes. All right. So I was talking about our Patreon, and of course, with all of our live streams, I always like to give a shout out to our monthly Patreon members. So a big thank you and a tip of the cap to Ben Oathwaite, Kuval, Kevin R. Smith, Talzek, Sean O'Donnell, Herman Lutman, Gustavo Cavallo, Kevin King, Game Cat, RPG Munch, Tier 2 DM, Far Adrift, Pete Stracklich, Dan Webb, Tessie Trekkie, Agile Monk, The Madman, and Flint Fireforge. Thank you kindly. It is much appreciated. So I see Chris Lundgren's talking about how basic Dungeons and Dragons 1981 edition is now print on demand over at Drive-Thru RPG. Kind of surprised it hasn't been before this. Okay. That I did not know. But I'll be very honest. If I were going to go the basic expert path, I would probably look at getting because I think it's also print on demand, the Rules Cyclopedia, because that'll have all of that line, the entire line in one volume, as opposed to just the basic experts, which were, 2 box sets. I guess according to, according to Chris, it is the book. So it's not the entire box set. Well, I mean, how could it? It's, dice and stuff, but still, I guess it's the book that's print on demand. Sweet. So some discussion of the sort of toys and the giveaways from back in the day. I think that's late 50s is when that commercial was from. DB says they had a Ready Ranger plastic backpack with a load of adventurous stuff inside it, like a periscope and a compass. That's pretty wild. So I see Captain Infinity Time Travel Police is joining us, as has, I think somebody else just popped in, didn't they? Oh, there we go. J-Man. Sweet. So looks like chat is rocking and rolling. Chris Lundgren says it's going to be $15 in print on demand and PDF. So DB says Immortal is Immortal not part of the cyclopedia? I don't know. I don't know. DB says, I'm jealous of Ready Ranger. I don't know who Ready Ranger would be. So, Little Britain's also joined us tonight. Good to see you once again. All right, so let's talk about different ways that you can get just, I mean, it's literally thousands of hours. Thousands of dollars? Thousands of olives. Take two. It is literally thousands of hours of free fantasy role-playing adventures, rules, all this stuff. Although I had to laugh. I think it was Kevin King said, you want thousands of hours of role-playing? Then just run, I guess, I'm pretty sure it was Rollmaster that they were talking about as written. It's like, oh, wait, no, enjoy? No. I'm like, yeah, okay. So, yeah, some discussion about martinis now that I mentioned olives. So Ravenclaw says Immortals is not part of the rule cyclopedia. Oh, okay. Cool. So, yes, so it's BECMI without the I. Sweet. Anyway, I was going to say, I would like those of you in chat also join in on this because I'm sure you're aware of various different free PDFs and such out there. Now, we talk about how the hobby has gotten more and more expensive, right? We talk about prices of books, prices of PDFs going up all the time. And I do see people online talking about how they're getting priced out of the hobby. So from time to time, I like reminding people once again that, now granted, we're not talking about being able to pick up the latest and greatest, new hotness absolutely free, but there are loads and loads of ways for you to go about getting free adventures, free rule sets, and so forth. And one of the biggest, we talked about this last week, Basic Fantasy. Basic Fantasy's core rules right here, and they are on the 4th edition. I think they're sharing a 20th anniversary. Well, not sharing. I think you can purchase a 20th anniversary cover now. I think they're going to run that through like 2027. But if you want physical books, you get them through Amazon. They are at cost. And of course, the core rules in PDF, absolutely free. All the adventures, absolutely free. All the supplemental material, additional optional rules, the various different classes, subclasses, all of that over at basicfantasy.org, 100% free. And you could spend a long, long time playing all of that content from Basic Fantasy. And one of the cool things, too, is the fact that many of the most well-regarded classic Dungeons & Dragons and Advanced Dungeons & Dragons modules have kind of a homage editions by way of Basic Fantasy, so that's pretty cool too. I like that. But the reality is, it's just a lot of fun, and it is built off. I always thought it was kind of built off of AD&D, but according to Chris Gonnerman, he had commented on that video I'm talking about, and he said that it's actually, I think he said 3rd edition that it's kind of built off of, and I was like, oh. Here we go. All right. So once again, Kevin King's pointing out Fate Core is pay what you want. Chris Lundgren is earning his money with Mythmere Games by bringing up OSRIC. Yes, of course we were going to mention OSRIC. Come on. It is actually 3.0. And I have 2.0. I didn't have it. It's not on the bookshelves behind me. And I was like, oh man, I'm not digging through boxes to find it. Otherwise, I'd be like, oh, OSRIC. The physical books aren't available yet, as far as I understand, for OSRIC 3.0. Because I would kick around maybe ordering those. It all depends. It depends on how they're priced. But the 2 volumes are also available absolutely free. So you are looking at the Player's Guide. I think it's Player's Guide. I don't think it's a Player's Handbook. So you got the Player's Guide. You've got the Game Master's Guide. In fact, the thumbnail for tonight's show is, I believe the artist's name is John Sumrow. Sumrow? And it is the artwork that's being utilized for the Player's Guide for OSRIC 3.0. So there you go. Oh, DB just said, wasn't OSRIC in the thumbnail? Yeah, that's the artwork I'm using. So we've got that. Oh, Chris Lundgren and his Planet of the Apes game. Oh my God. It's just a quick start, Chris. I don't know. I don't think quick starts count. Let's not have, no offense to it's not even Planet of the Apes. It's kind of an analog of Planet of the Apes. But the quick start that they do have for the Planet of the Apes from Magnetic Press Play is actually very cool. There's quite a bit to it. But yeah, we'll say that quick starts are off the table. Just because there's so many quick starts out there. And what we're looking for here is the ability not only to pick up like a rule set, but also to be able to utilize that rule set with other adventures out there, right? Because the reality is if somebody's just getting into the hobby, or maybe they're just coming back to the hobby, a lot of times if they're not, being told that they have to run Dungeons and Dragons, they're not necessarily maybe looking to spend a whole lot of money to get back into the hobby, especially if they're not sure if the people they're running the game for are going to enjoy it. So I feel bad for like parents out there who get forced into running Dungeons and Dragons or any role-playing game, really. I don't want to just say D&D. But if they get, if they're kind of forced into running it, and then they go and they buy all the books, and maybe they buy an adventure, and then they sit there and they, have to learn how to run the game, and they sit down for their first session, and the kids are like, it's all right. I don't know if I want to play this again. So Danny Gable says somebody's got the physical bundle for Dune for $30. Sadly, it's pretty much sold out. So if you go over to that page, then take a peek, because I went to take a look because I was going to share it once again, just as a reminder on social media. Hey, don't miss out. This is just a rockin' deal. And I think all they had left in it was one of the books and the Game Master screen. That was all that was left. But there is still the digital, I don't think it's ended yet. It's probably close to ending. There is that digital bundle over at Humble Bundle for Dune, which is a rockin' deal because with all 16 PDFs, 15 PDFs, it's the entire line, but it is not free. Not free. Now, on Sunday, I shared my review of Adventures Dark and Deep. The Adventures Dark and Deep Light, which is about a third the length of the core rulebook. That is pay what you want. And Adventures Dark and Deep is supposed to represent what ideas Gary Gygax had for the second edition of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And I thought it was very cool. I thought it's a really cool core rule book. I'm going to share my review of the bestiary probably this coming weekend. And I'm not sure what's in the light edition, because in the core rulebook, which is 480 plus pages, you've got the core rules, you've got information about treasure, stocking your dungeon, things like that. You got game master advice. You've got well over 100 pages of magic spells. I mean, really cool stuff. It was kind of funny. Somebody had a really rude comment that I was like, you know what? I don't need this. And I just was like, hidden from the channel, carrying on about why is this guy like this core rulebook so much? All it is second edition Dungeons and Dragons. Hasn't this idiot, that's what they said, hasn't this idiot played AD&D 2E? And the answer to that is, no, I haven't. So it's like, plus, the review is not to compare it to second edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It's to explain what is this game. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, why is this guy talking about like the core mechanics of this? Because maybe not everybody's familiar with second edition AD&D. I certainly am not. Kevin R. Smith has joined us. Good to see you. Welcome back. So, Tesco Love has also joined us in chat. Says, tons of fate settings are pay what you want. See, that's something else that's very important for people to keep in mind. Pay what you want. The publishers already know. They're fine if you don't pay them anything. So if you're over at Drive-Thru RPG or Dungeon Masters Guild, whatever, and you see something and it says it's pay what you want, and then it defaults to say $5, you'll also see there's a 0, or it'll say, put your amount in here. Those publishers are absolutely fine if you pay nothing for their product. The reason why you have something that's pay what you want is that the creator or creators, plural, want to get it in front of people. And you know what? If you like it, and then you decide, hey, you want to go back to Drive-Thru RPG and purchase it for a few bucks, by all means, that's very, very cool, but you don't have to. So just because something says pay what you want, don't let it dissuade you from checking something out absolutely free. Just wanted to mention that because I have heard from some folks where it's like, yeah, I don't do pay what you want because I feel like I'm ripping off the publisher. I don't really want to do that. It's like, no, they're fine. That's why it's pay what you want. All right. So let's see. Dark Dungeons. I'm not sure what. Is that the Bloat Games? No, maybe not. So some discussion of great introductions to role-playing games. Yes, Metzger's Red Box. I would go with you on that. I think that's very, very well done. All right, so let's talk about some other stuff. Some other games that are out there. Are my friends over at Troll Lord Games still offering the Castles and Crusades Player's Handbook absolutely free? Also important to keep in mind that the Player's Handbook is actually the core rule book, because the Castle Keeper's Guide is just all optional. So it is not like D&D where it's like, well, I got to have the Player's Guide, Monster Manual, and Dungeon Master's Guide. Nope. All you need is the Player's Book. Yeah, you do need a bestiary. but it's not impossible for you to convert the AD&D Monsters Manual or second edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual to it. So that is, I think it's, like I said, I think it's still available for free. I know last time I had talked with Chuck Cumbo from Troll Lord Games, I had mentioned that the link wasn't all that easy to find anymore. You kind of had to search around to get to the link, but the link still worked. And granted, it was not the most recent print run, and it's certainly not, I don't think it would be the reforged edition that's out now, but that really hasn't changed the core game whatsoever. So that is something else you can certainly take a peek at. Kevin R. Smith was asking, have we mentioned the archives of Nethesis? I forget how it's supposed to be pronounced. It is the free Pathfinder 2nd Edition website. Is that available as a download? That's what I'm kind of curious about. Because it's not really in like a reference document, right? I'll be honest, I've never actually taken a peek over there at it. But yes, and that's like, supposedly it's like all of the rules and everything. It's not like the open game license Dungeons and Dragons SRD, where it's like, oh, well, you can use some stuff, you can use other stuff, but this is copywritten things, so you cannot utilize it. Right? It's not in it. So, like Beholders, that is a Dungeons and Dragons concept. They are not in now. Tyrants, things like that. Well, yeah, of course. Pete Straklich is talking about how Troll Lord Games and Goodman Games are collaborating on Kickstarters. Yes. So here's the deal. So if you back the current Goodman Games Kickstarter so it's White Rock Castle, I think that's the name of it. If you back it, you will get the physical, as far as I understand, it is the physical the player's handbook for Castles and Crusades. And if you back the current Troll Lord Games Kickstarter, you will get a copy of the core rulebook for Dungeon Crawl Classics for free. There you go. Castle White Rock. Thank you, Keith Ulu. I knew it was White Rock. It just couldn't remember if it was before or after. Tesco Love brings up Kevin Crawford's Without Number games are absolutely free. Stars Without Number, Cities Without Number. There is Worlds Without Number. That is the fantasy game. Stars Without Number is science fiction. Cities Without Number is cyberpunk, right? So as far as those go, I don't think there's artwork inside, which, I mean, hey, remember, it's free. And the Sign Nominee publishing books are like 300 pages. So it's not like it's, oh, well, here's your free 60-page book. No, I mean, it's seriously the core rules and a lot of other supplemental content that's included in those books, but they're usually without art, and there are usually about 40 to 50 pages of content that you would find in the priced edition that is not going to be in the free edition. But I mean, that's still a smoking offer, right? Because sadly, I've never had an opportunity to actually dive on in and review any of Kevin Crawford's games. What was it? I think it was Stars Without Number. I had a PDF of, and that might have been the free one. And I remember I started taking a peek at it, and then I was, oh, look, oh, piece of candy. And I was off looking, off on something else. So it's like, woo. So DB says, yeah, those are boss. The books are worthwhile, though, if you like to spend money. Hey, I'm not trying to tell you not to spend any money. I'm one of these people where it's like, I want everybody to enjoy our hobby. Now, I kind of get irritated by people who are like, oh, well, I want this, so I should get this. And it's like, okay, well then buy it. Well, I don't have the money for it, or I don't want to spend the money on that. Okay. Well, then you can't have that. But I also love to have people, enjoy role-playing games and get involved in the hobby. And it's so funny because I know there are still so many people out there who are kind of like, oh yeah, that sounds kind of cool. I've heard of, Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. I watched Stranger Things. Yeah. I kind of have an idea but just the magic of a fantastic game session where everything's clicking and everybody's having a great time. Man, there's nothing like that. I think, everybody should experience that if they're interested in it. Some discussion of Cepheus Engine, if you want to play Traveler without paying for it, according to Kevin King. So, yes, so Cepheus is, correct me if I'm wrong, is more GDW Traveler, who is the originators, who were the originators of Traveler, and now Travelers with Mongoose Publishing. I think you've done a wonderful job with it, really. There were some quibbles about Mongoose Publishing years ago. I think they've addressed that. They've gotten way, way better. But as far as I know, Cepheus Engine is more GDW Traveler. And the reality is the core mechanics of Traveler really haven't changed. In all the decades, still kind of the same. Rolling 2 6-sided dice. Looking to meet or exceed a target number. Maybe you get some modifiers to throw in there. That's about it. Kevin R. Smith says, for Lovecraft fans, there's Cthulhu Eternal, a game that uses Delta Green mechanics, has supplements for all kinds of historical eras. Danny Cable says, I want to play Traveler in a Lamborghini and not pay for it. After Dan Webb said, I want the Lamborghini, but I don't want to pay for it. Sometimes in the Winter says, I'm so lost on Cepheus Engine. You and me both. Zoser Games also has Hostile and their version of Cepheus. Yeah, and then there's another, I don't think it's Zoser, but I thought there's another publisher that does Cepheus Engine, and they use a lot of AI. So, and I'm yeah. Daryl Arrett says, 15 years ago, I might have been greedy for PDFs, but no more. I want hard copies. I like having hard copies too. I don't necessarily need to have a hard copy of every role-playing game that I want to check out. But if it's something that I would like to run, yes, most definitely. So, Velimir says, Lamborghini, you wouldn't download a car. Is that a little IT crowd reference there? All right. Let's see. What else do we have? So we've talked about, or at least I've talked about, basic fantasy, Castles and Crusades, the light edition of Adventures Dark and Deep. What else do we have? Because once again, I'm trying to think of core rule books which are available for free. And some that are going to have, oh, yeah, great, another Asian lady beetle. Well, at least it waited until later to pop out as opposed to, okay, press stream. What the hell? Like the other night. Last week, I'm like, oh, hey, maybe we don't have any down here tonight. So I was down here for about, I don't know, 45 minutes before the stream, and then hit start stream, and I'm like, all of a sudden it's like right past me. I'm like, I tell you. Let's see. Bamboozled Great Crowd has joined us, says they're looking forward to Heroes of Might and Magic role-playing game. Not something I know much about. Little Britain says nowadays I want rule sets for virtual tabletops. Yeah, that's kind of tough to get those for free. And I can certainly understand why. Outside of the rules sets. So as an example, if you've got like, say, Foundry, the core rule sets themselves, for the most part, are free. Not all of them, and some of them are kind of more like fan versions as opposed to from the official publisher of them. A lot of times when it comes from the publisher, yeah, there's a charge for it. But yes, I can see where you're coming from. So Little Britain's talking about the Traveler Bundles of Holding. Yep, you missed the news tonight because we did talk about the first. We're going to talk about the Naval Bundle tomorrow. But yes, I will be sharing all 5 of the Traveler Day bundles that are scheduled to launch this week. So Seamus Todd points out White Box fantastic medieval adventure game is still free. Sweet. I like that. I have reviewed that. And if you are looking for something that is, you know, the equivalent of original Dungeons and Dragons, at least the first 3 books, the little brown books, that is really nice. So Little Britain says, I indeed missed the news. YouTube doesn't notify me. Yeah, I know. I know. What was the video? Because I have, of course, the Gaming Gang account on YouTube. And then I've got my just Jeff McLear account. So I am a subscriber to the channel. And I do have all notifications on. And then I will see from time to time, I don't get the notification. So I understand, you know, what's going on, right? So yes, I do know that even if you say you want all notifications, you are not going to get them. And it's not like I am subscribed to dozens of channels. I think I have 5 subs in my, you know, personal YouTube account. Not much. Sometimes Winter says they should do PDF plus physical plus virtual tabletop of choice bundles. You know who does do that is Roll for Combat. They will do those sorts of things with their Kickstarters. Yeah, you can usually do PDF, physical, and virtual tabletop stuff. All combined into one pledge level. Chris Langner says his role-playing game I downloaded from Drive-Thru is over 230 pages. Wow, we're really nice role-playing game. There are quite a lot of those. Something else I guess we should talk about is if you go to Drive-Thru RPG, I think it's probably the same with the Storyteller's Vault and Dungeon Masters Guild. I don't know if maybe Finder Infinity or Infinite. I think it's Infinite. But if you're taking a look at the left side of the screen, you've got all these different things broken down. There used to, at least, be a link for free role-playing games. And there used to be tons and tons of stuff. I'm sure it still is. So that's also a good way to expose yourself to new role-playing games. And they're not only quick starts, because a lot of quick starts are, I guess I would personally say, I don't want to say waste of time, but I think there are quite a few quick starts that are out there that really, in my opinion, don't move the needle for me as far as, oh yeah, I really want to take a look at this. Because they're like 18 pages long and you're like, okay, all right, I get it. I get it. You want to make sure people buy your product, but you're not selling me on it with the quick start. And there are times where I'll see a quick start and it'll say it's a quick start and it's not. It's actually just a preview. So it doesn't even have like core rules and stuff for you to be able to play something. That doesn't happen often, but I have seen it. So yeah, sometimes in the winter says that playing online, a lot of times you have to buy some games 2-3 times. Yeah. Well, part of it is that a lot of times the publisher doesn't have the virtual tabletop release done yet. And they haven't even started it because they're not positive how well the game is going to sell. Now, of course, the bigger publishers out there, yes, they normally do. But even like, say, Chaosium Inc. When Chaosium Inc. comes out with something, there isn't necessarily immediately the virtual tabletop version of it. Sometimes you got to wait quite a long time. Little Britain says, such a pain to pay extra for virtual tabletop. I get it. You know, it used to be cool, but they don't do it anymore. It used to be where if you bought, this is back when Paizo Inc. used to have the adventure paths where you had multiple chapters, came out every month. There was a time where if you got the PDF of that you could actually port it over to, I want to say it was Fantasy Grounds, by way of like a mod that was available for Fantasy Grounds. And then that stopped, where it was like, well, you can buy the physical book, the PDF, and the virtual tabletop release for it. Chris Lindgren says it's called Heroes Against the Darkness. It's one that got 100% free in PDF at $16 in print on demand. Is that part of the War Against Darkness lineup? What is that? Ganesha Games, I think it is. Little Britain says, yep, they got 30 game titles they never played sitting on their shelf. See, at least, you know, with me, they're getting reviews, or, you know, they're like, for an example, my Deities and Demigods. Well, that's, you know, part of my collection. But yeah, if somebody's out there and they've paid for, you know, 50 role-playing games that they've never run, I was in that book way back in the day. Yep. I used to do that too. It'd be like, oh yeah, that looks real cool. I used to get like Deadlands. When Deadlands first came out, that was one that I would, and I'd pick up the Splat books. I would pick up the dime novel adventures. Just read them, enjoy it, and that was about it. They didn't get run. There are a lot of role-playing games that were like that. I used to pick up some of the early Vampire the Masquerade. I had picked it up when it first came out. And I was like, hey, this is kind of interesting. I picked up some of the Splats. I didn't get too heavily involved in picking those up, but never ran it, never played it. I was like, oh, okay. Little Britain says there was a Foundry mod to port your PDFs of Virtual Tabletop. I think it was really a mod to validate your copy and then enabled a fan port of the module. Chris Langren says Hero Forge Games makes the role-playing game he was talking about. And Agile Monk's popping on in chat. Good to see ya. Welcome. Getting ready to wrap up. And let's see, any other final free role-playing game core books that jump to mind? So chime in if you think of anything out there in chat as well. The reality is there is like a lot. There's a lot of free role-playing games out there. You just have to look. I mean, that's really what you need to do. You need to maybe dig a little bit in order to find stuff. But yeah. Yes, Seamus Todd's talking about OSRIC 3.0. Oh, yeah, that was one of the first. It was one of the first that we would jump on in and mention. The basic fantasy, Castles and Crusades. Actually, we were talking about OSRIC before Castles and Crusades, Player's Handbook or Player's Guide, whatever it's titled. So let's see. Mazes and Minotaurs is a, according to Chris Langren, is a highly rated RPG that offers a satirical, direct classic counterpart to traditional tabletop games. Looks like he's copying that from the sell sheet. Yes, Seamus Todd says, sorry, I came partway through. Oh, yeah, I completely understand. I understand. Daryl points out, just use filters on drive-through. Yes. Agile Monk, yes. Castles and Crusades, Player's Handbook, absolutely free. As I had mentioned earlier, I'm not sure how easy it is to find that link anymore. Because I had mentioned that to Chuck Cumbo, and he was like, really? I didn't know that. I was like, yeah, it's not, you kind of search around to get to it. So it might be a lot more obvious now. You know what else is a role-playing game? I wonder if it's, the core rules are free. Is it Neo Geek Revival? Is that the title of it? And it's kind of an OSR role-playing game. I don't really know much about it outside of, I know some of its adventures have been really well regarded, and it's sort of kind of set during the age of like Greek mythology. And I think it's called Neo Geek Revival. Neoclassical Geek Revival. Thank you, Dirk Krieger points out. Says, yes, Mazes and Minotaurs has always looked awesome. Never played it. So Agile Monk says, good point, Jeff. The link got buried. Yeah, I don't know if they fixed that or not. So just mentioning that, but you can find it. As I pointed out, the Castles and Crusades Player's Handbook is the core rule book. Now, you don't get a monster manual there, but you get everything else. So it is the Player's Guide, Game Master's Guide combined. So pretty sweet. I've got some new, well, maybe not new to all of you out there, but I did get a package from my friends over at Troll Lord Games. So I will be reviewing, probably the first one I'm going to review is the Adventurer's Backpack. So I will be sharing that review shortly. Also got some soft covers from there that I've actually been sharing news about. So the Rune Lore is another one. Troy Cornelson's joining us. Welcome. Chris Lenren says Mazes is one of their personal favorites. Yeah, is it free? Is the core rules for Mazes free now? Because I reviewed Mazes. I liked it. I thought it was kind of cool. It's got an old school vibe, but it's using the polymorph? Was that what the system from Ninth Level Games is? Oh, yeah. So Mike Gerke's with us. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Says the preview of Flail on Kickstarter is the whole core rulebook. Yeah, you can get that whole core rulebook absolutely free. I think it is light on art. I think that's what the deal is there. Chris Lundgren says it's always been 100% free. Really? Because yes, I had reviewed the box set. Came in the different little booklets. Although I didn't get the box. I thought that was kind of funny. It's like, yeah, do you mind if we send you this from a box that got kind of smashed? I'm like, no, that's okay. That's fine. There you go. Iron Sworn. That is another system out there that you can get absolutely free. So Seamus Todd says the player's handbook for Castles and Crusades is free over on Drive-Thru RPG. Is it the Reforged edition? I'm curious. I wonder. So Chris Lundgren says, yeah, they've got tons of stuff for mazes. Nice. That's cool. All right. A couple more minutes, and then we're going to wrap up. So sometimes in the winter says, oh, yeah, surprised no one else had mentioned Iron Sworn. I've never had an opportunity to take a peek at it. So Sean Tompkins, right? Isn't that it? So yes, Seamus Todd said it is the 7th print run that is free. That's what it's always been. But as I pointed out, there really isn't any changes. Okay, some of the typos in that have been cleaned up. There's a little different artwork on some pages, but that is it. Dirk Krieger says Reforged is also free, or the player's guide for Castles and Crusades. Nice. And Monster. Wait. What is Chris Leonard pointing out? M&M. Mutants and Masterminds? So Legendary Games Studio has a fully revised, streamlined, and expanded version of M&M. Most of the time is Mutants and Masterminds for free on Drive-Thru RPG. Oh, Mazes and Minotaurs. Okay. Yes, so that was something that was already being discussed. Very cool. Very nice. All right. So there you have it. Tons of ways for people to go and enjoy literally years of fantasy role-playing goodness, and won't cost a dime. Will cost absolutely zero. And once again, I'm going to finish as I started. If you have never checked out Basic Fantasy, go to basicfantasy.org. Absolutely free. You cannot go wrong. Plus, all of the optional material, all the additional classes, all of the adventures will cost you nothing. In PDF, obviously, enough. I see that sometimes in the winter says Heroes of Carulia, not familiar with that, is worth mentioning twice. It's inspired by Legend of Zelda. Oh, nice. Sweet. All right. So if you're curious what we're going to talk about tomorrow, I am going to discuss how to make your game master / dungeon master's life easier. And that's by being a better player. We're going to talk about a few different ways to be a better player at the game table, to make life easier on your dungeon master, game master. Well, the reality is on your other players too. So hopefully you'll join me for that. And of course, we'll also have the latest tabletop role-playing game news of the day. All right. If you're watching live, thank you very much. If you watched live and took part in chat, you get a tip of the cap, because not only are you keeping me company, you're also keeping each other company while I'm sharing the role-playing game news or pontificating about a topic. Plus, tonight, a lot of discussion about the free goodies that are out there that people can take advantage of to get involved in this hobby, to dip their toes in without spending a nickel. Not a dime, not even a nickel. So that is much appreciated. But of course, I know a lot of folks out there, they don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with us, have a little bit of fun. Thank you kindly. If you happen to like the video, don't forget, give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the dispatch streams live. No, it's supposed to. Doesn't always do it, but it's supposed to let you know when the dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I share other videos, such as my recent review of Cthulhu by Gaslight, Dust and Blood from Chaosium Inc. Yes, I just shared that review earlier today. So if you've not checked it out, give it a peek. Yay. Everybody enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day is in your neck of the woods. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and until I see you next time, which hopefully is going to be tomorrow, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.